All right. So now we got the pointing down. Now we know how to do this. We've practiced pointing so we can do the intro.
Yeah, Steve's over there.
Damon's over there.
Steve's over there.
Damon's over there. All right, you're back with the Penny Stupid Project podcast. Today, Damon has a topic that he's very passionate about, and I totally get it. Here is a difficult thing that I think both Damon and I have struggled with, is when you talk to people about how they can easily make side hustle money, like with rideshare. We're just going to focus on rideshare. They come up with every objection that makes no sense. You know, essentially it's going to cost me to make money.
Yeah. As opposed to all those free businesses out there that, you don't have to spend a dime and the money just rolls in. Yeah.
Do OnlyFans. I mean, come on.
Well, you have to pay OnlyFans. That even costs money.
Oh, that's true.
You can't make money on OnlyFans because they charge you a percentage of what you make. So you definitely can't make money.
All right. So if this sounds familiar, all right, you might have even said this yourself. But if this sounds familiar, you've got to listen to Damon here. If you have said, I don't want to do rideshare, even though I'm going to make money because it's going to depreciate my car or I'll have to pay for gas. Wake the fuck up.
Drives me nuts.
Damon? What?
It drives me nuts. It just drives me nuts.
I thought you made some comment about your nuts.
I did, but it does. It drives me nuts. It drives me nuts. So, no, I got this. I mean, this is just one of many. This comment on this is what got me started on my whole thing, because we've said it before on different podcasts, but this is the single number one thing that I get that they're so just focused on the miles on their car, the gas expense or whatever. And hey, look, you got to evaluate every opportunity, see if it's right for you. I don't, crunch the numbers, do what you need to do, but it's the ignorance of a lot of it that just really drives me crazy. And then people will hear that as, oh, well, yeah, it's going to I heard it puts too many miles on your car. My car won't be worth anything. Here's the comment that set me off. And this is just one of many, but Larry posted on our Facebook yesterday. He says, and I'll read it, because this was on our post of how much I made the first week of Lyft driving. How much did I make that first week? Was it like $1,500 or something like that? It was a pretty good week. I don't remember exactly how much it was, but it was a good week. And his comment to that was, and by the time the car is paid off, it'll have 200,000 miles and be worth $500. Tires every 40,000 miles, oil change every 5,000 miles, brakes, clutch. Who drives a clutch anymore these days?
I don't know.
This is how old Larry must be. Brakes, clutch, timing belt, windshield wiper blades, insurance, registration. It adds up. I mean, number one, if you're worried about the cost of windshield wiper blades,
yeah, that's
your decision. There might be some other stuff going on there. But here was my response to Larry, and I didn't get into detail, which is why I wanted to do this podcast, because I wanted something that I could just point people to every time I get this kind of, comeback, as far as, which basically says to me, with a person saying, oh, it'll be too many miles, it just tells me I'm too lazy and here's my excuse why I don't want to do it. Mm-hmm. Now, again, if rideshare is not for you, that's fine.
Don't do it.
I just don't want people saying no to an opportunity because they have bad information in their brain. And we're going to go over that in this podcast about why the argument of I'm going to put too many miles on my car is absolutely idiotic. It's stupid. It doesn't make sense. It makes you look foolish. To anybody that has actually ever ran a business or has any business sense, stop thinking like a brokey. Think like a rich person. Brokies think about the miles on their car. Rich people think, oh, I'm going to depreciate the car. I'm going to write that off. I'm going to make how much money with that vehicle? Okay, how many of those vehicles can I buy and put in service? Right? That's how rich people think. Broke people think, oh, my precious vehicle. I can't put any miles. My precious. That's how broke people
think. Good
think.
Impression.
Yeah,
well,
exactly.
It is difficult for people to stop thinking about their car as their car and start thinking about it as the tool you're using to make money. Guys that drive limousines or, black charter cars or whatever they are, the guys that own those companies aren't going, oh crap, we're putting too many miles on it. They're going, that car is rolling and it's making us money. And that's good.
Well, not only that, they're making enough money from that car that it covers the cost of the vehicle, all the maintenance, everything that goes into it, plus the cost, in many cases, of the driver, because the driver's working for that limo company. And so for the what the owner of that company is making with that car in service more than covers the entire cost, depreciation, everything, and a driver, and they're still making a profit. So maybe there's some money to be made, even when you put the miles on the car. But here's my response to Larry.
Okay.
And I'm sorry, my pool guy just walked in the backyard, and my little Maltese is going nuts because she's protecting the house. So hopefully the mic's not picking that up. She's not going to stop. Yeah. Oh, she's vicious, man. All 8 pounds of her. So my response is, Larry, unfortunately, it's thinking like this that keeps people broke and working jobs they may not enjoy. Who cares if your car is worth $0? If my car makes me an extra $250,000, that's $250,000 for all you listening at home.
Yeah.
In 5 or 6 years, and is now worth $0, does it really matter? It will take. I will take some of the $250,000 that my worthless car just made me and go get another damn car. You know, it's just a tool.
No, I agree completely. And the other thing you have to realize is every one of those miles that you're driving in that car, not only are you making money from rideshare, but you're also making money because you should absolutely be tracking all of your mileage because you get a tax deduction for it. How much is it now a mile?
It's 62.5 cents. And we should spend a little time on this because I never hear people talking about this when they're talking about all of this depreciation that they don't want to have on their car.
Yeah.
I don't think most people realize that the IRS is essentially, think of it like this. The IRS is paying for that. The IRS is buying that car from you if you're using it for business miles. So let's talk a little bit about how, because there's confusion out there about it. You know, I see people saying, well, the IRS will pay you. It's like, well, they don't technically pay you. You get a tax credit. So let's
you
talk
reduce
about
your liability.
Let's talk about how that works and what that equates to in real dollars for somebody that's using their vehicle for delivery or rideshare or any kind of business endeavor.
Let's do it.
Me or you?
You're the guy with the numbers.
You're letting me talk? Usually you're like, I try to get a word in edgewise. So
no, I'm just going to, I'll be back.
I'm going to go get some lunch while Damon does his diatribe. So basically the way the tax deduction works is for any deductible miles, miles, driven in service of a business or, something, with a profit motive, basically some kind of a
and rideshare is your business when you're driving.
Exactly. So for every mile you drive, the IRS will give you 62.5 cents credit towards that mile. So let's put it in real terms. Let's say you drove 10,000 miles. The IRS is going to give you a $6,250 tax credit. Now that's not $6,000 in your pocket. That essentially is an offset, which would allow you to earn $6,250, essentially tax-free, right? Because that offset is going to be dollar for dollar.
Yeah, it's going to reduce your income.
Yeah, it would reduce so it would reduce your tax liability. So that's $6,250 for that 10,000 miles. It depends on what your actual tax bracket is, but what would you say? For most people, that would be maybe
20%.
Yeah, $1,500, I would say, give or take. And these are just round numbers. So that would actually be $1,500 that you do not have to give the IRS. Right. $1,500 real dollars in your pocket. So that $1,500 will help cover gas and depreciation, and in Larry's case, fucking wiper blades. Like, they'll cover the wiper blades.
And his clutch.
Yeah, and his clutch, because he's driving a 1974 Dodge pickup for doing rideshare, maybe, I guess. I don't know.
We'll do the math on a brand new Prius. You could buy a brand new freaking Prius and use it primarily for DoorDash, Grubhub, Instacart, Uber, Lyft.
So here's
my
thing.
These numbers.
Here's my thing for most people. I always say, and everybody's situation is different. Depends on where you're at in your life and what you have available, what your credit looks like. I typically advise people start with what you have, right? Like when I started with my wife's, she had a Cadillac XTS, right? And I was like, I'm going to try this rideshare thing for this experiment. Well, I'm not going to go buy a car. I don't even know if
No.
I'm going to, hey, babe, I'm going to borrow your car. That only worked for 2 weeks because she was tired of driving my Ram Dually diesel truck around when I borrowed the car. But it gave me an idea for those 2 weeks of, hey, I can make some real money here. Remember, I made $275 that first night.
Oh, yeah. And
so,
you came home alive.
Arrive alive. That's what I said.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing, because you're talking about, behavioral economics and psychology of money when you're talking about this, because there are lots of people out there that love to plan but never do. Yeah. So somebody might be hearing, okay, I'm going to go buy a car. Well, Damon's right. You got to drive the damn thing eventually and use it to make money. Otherwise, don't buy a car. But if you are a doer, listen to how these numbers work out.
Yeah. So start with what you have if you can. But if you're of the persuasion of your car is the most precious thing in your life and you're preserving your vehicle, so when you pass away, you're going to pass it down to your children, I guess. Maybe that's why you care about the miles. And if you're one of those, then don't use that car. It's too precious to you. But if you're in a situation where you need extra money and it looks like some of these rideshare gigs might be right for you and you just can't bring yourself to use your own personal vehicle, and it's babied in the garage and in the glass, like on Ferris Bueller's Day Off, and you've got that old Ferrari in there and you just can't touch it, right? Okay, that's fine. Well, let's say you really want to do this rideshare. I went to cargurus.com yesterday and say, what would it take? A Prius, right? A Prius is actually it's a perfect rideshare vehicle. It's one of the most popular
The mileage is incredible.
You get 50 miles a gallon. They're fairly inexpensive cars. It's a nice hatchback, so you can even do delivery with it. You could do Amazon Flex with it. You could drive people around. And let's say you're in an area that not like, here in like Scottsdale, Arizona, or Miami or New York or LA, where you're not going to be getting any luxury rides or black rides or anything like that, where you're just in a normal market. So you're
just hustling.
You don't need a premium car. You're basically going to be doing like Uber X, Lyft, Amazon Flex, DoorDash, that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Taco Bell can ride in the Prius.
Yeah. Prius is perfect. Get the 50 miles a gallon. You can get a brand new Prius, brand spanking new, for $30,000. Okay. Yeah. It's $30,000. You want to save a little bit of money. Unbelievable. You can get a used one, but hey, for 30 grand, I'd get the new one.
Yeah, I know.
But, so $30,000. Steve, what did we figure the payment was going to be? $480, $500, something like that.
483.
So
that's no money down.
Yeah, no money down. Sign and drive. You got a sign and drive event, right? So if you have
put it in the truck, Bob.
Decent credit, and you got your Ferrari in your glass garage, and you can't use that, then you can go down. You can get a Prius for $30,000. It's $500 a month. I can make $500 Friday night. I mean, you can make that payment up in a couple of days, even if you suck. I mean, you could accidentally make $500.
So the next 28 days, you have no car payment.
Yeah, because, you could actually rent a car from Uber or Lyft, but here's why that is a shitty idea. You don't, if you're in a situation where you just maybe you don't even have a car and you don't have the ability to buy a car, maybe you don't have any income coming in and you're like screwed. Well, if you can rent a car and that's the only way you can get a vehicle, then you do that, and you got to do what you got to do to get started. But you could rent a Nissan, what is it? It's not an Altima, it's a Nissan Sentra. But they charge, I think it's $300 a week. Plus, with the fees and everything, I think
almost
it comes
a car
out,
payment.
Yeah, I think it comes out to about $400 a week. So you're literally renting that Nissan Sentra for $1,500-$1,600 a month. So clearly, if you could buy a brand new Prius for $500, that's going to be a better deal. And I recommend you do that as soon as you can. I'm only for renting if you have no other option and you don't have a vehicle to use. And then I'm only for renting for just long enough until you have enough income coming in where you can buy your own car, right? But say you buy that Prius for $30,000, and now I did some comparisons. So let's say you're of the camp of, I don't want to do rideshare, I don't want to lose the value on my car, I'm preserving the value of my car. So you don't do any rideshare, you don't use the car for any business, and you have it for 6 years till the car's paid off, right?
Yep.
That car now has, let's say, 100,000 miles. You drive 15,000 miles a year.
But Damon, it's not going to be worth as less when I go to sell it.
Yeah, so you've got 100,000 miles, right? And now let's say it's you know what 100,000 mile 6-year-old Prius is worth right now? 20 grand.
No.
Okay.
Okay.
So right now it's 20 grand. Okay, and you say, "Wow, look what I did! I saved $20,000. I got $20,000. I can sell my car. Great."
Yeah.
Well, what happens if during that same 6 years you use that precious Prius, the precious Prius, for rideshare, and you added an additional 200,000 miles because you drove the shit out of it, and you made a whole bunch of money. Now you have a 6-year-old Prius with 300,000 miles on it. You go to cargurus.com.
What's that
car's
worth?
Worth anywhere from $4,000 to $7,000. So let's
So
call
I
it
lost
five.
$16,000, but I made 200.
Yeah, so what are you preserving? What are you worried about with your miles? You're worried about losing $15,000?
Yeah. And that doesn't even include what I recouped through my mileage deduction.
Well, when we get to the mileage deduction, it's more than $15,000.
Yeah, exactly.
So you drove those 200,000 miles, and on average, I make about $1 a mile when I'm doing rideshare. Sometimes it's better, but I'm in a situation where I got to drive 40 miles to the location where I like to drive. So I'm putting 80 miles a day on the car just getting to the location. If you live kind of in an urban area or downtown where you live in the area that you'd be driving, you could probably do a lot better than $1 a mile. But let's just say $1 a mile. So you got 200,000 business miles. That's $200,000 that you make extra on the side over the next 6 years. So you're telling me with a straight face that you would not want to make $200,000 because you'll lose $15,000? Are you stupid? You're stupid. It makes no sense. You're thinking like a brokey. Stop being a brokey and say, who gives a shit about the car? The car is a tool. I will spend 15 grand to make 200 grand. How many times can I do it, please?
Every day of the week.
Yeah. And then now, even if that wasn't like lopsided enough argument for who gives a shit about your miles, we haven't even talked about, like you said, the tax deduction. You drive 200,000 miles, and that's about what, $125,000 credit, tax credit for 200,000 miles, 62.5 cents. I think so. Whatever the math is, maybe 125,000. $125,000 tax credit, which means
it is.
Of that $200,000 that you make over the next 6 years driving your precious Prius around.
Yeah, you had a liability reduction from your income.
125,000 of it is essentially the first 125 is tax free. So what's that going to save you in taxes? 30 grand? 125,000 probably in real actual dollars. 30 grand over those 6 years.
And because you're driving a Prius, you're not paying as much for fuel.
Yeah. Well, how much did the Prius cost, Steve?
30 grand.
How much was the fucking actual savings in taxes over 6 years?
125.
No, actual savings, dollars.
Credit. Yeah.
30
you
grand.
Said about 30 grand.
30 grand. Yeah. It's a free fucking car. Who cares? Who cares about the miles? Drive the shit out of it. It's such a stupid argument. It's a stupid argument. It doesn't make any sense, and it makes you look foolish when you say, I don't want to put miles on my car. Get another car.
Yeah, I mean, it's like the airline saying, "Ooh, we can't fly you today because we're going to put miles on this airplane." What do they say? Get your ass on the plane. Let's go.
So anyway, now we have this podcast, so I can just link to it, and anybody just says, "Oh, I'm going to put miles on my car." Either who gives a shit about your car or buy another car. If this is an opportunity that you think you can make money at, putting miles on your car is not an excuse to not do it. If you don't want to do it for other reasons, that's fine. This is not for everybody. There's lots of opportunities out there. But stop saying, I can't do rideshare because my car.
Right. It's going to depreciate my car.
Oh, God.
Now.
And your wiper blades. Shit.
And your clutch.
Hey, you know what? If you want to try Lyft, sign up with our referral link, because I'll get like a few $100 referral. I'll buy you some new fucking wiper blades. I'll buy them for you. I'll send you some wiper blades. Now you sign up and you get
the Rain-X ones.
Yeah, you get I'll get super premium, and I will give you the Rain-X stuff to treat your windshield.
Yeah.
In fact, I'll buy you wiper blades for the next 6 years.
Now you said people who believe this are stupid. I understand where you're coming from. I'm just going to put a little twist on that.
Stupid thinking.
Ill-informed. Right?
That's
they just haven't had. Well,
Ill-informed thinking. There you go. Well, this is the Penny Stupid Project.
Well, I know. It reminds me of this joke, right? Woman comes up, trips another woman, falls on the ground. She looks up and goes, well, bless your heart. And the other woman says, well, that's a strange thing to say. Woman on the ground says, well, my family raised me right. They sent me to school. I learned all the proper things to do, all the proper things to say. And what I learned at school was you should say, well, bless your heart instead of fuck you.
Well, you know how I am. I'm over exaggerating for the drama of it. And if it pisses people off, it actually creates engagement. So sorry, because one of our side hustles is growing this YouTube channel. And I'm trying to grow the fuck out of this YouTube channel. So by being
you're like a bad rash.
By being a provocateur, as they say, I'm sorry. It just helps the algorithm when people get pissed off, and it just kind of amplifies the message. However you want to deliver the message remains the same. It's stupid thinking to not do an opportunity that you can make $200,000 because you're trying to preserve $15,000 of a vehicle that may get in a wreck and get totaled before you pay it off anyway. Who the hell cares about the car?
I mean, you buy a lawnmower, start a lawn mowing business. Are you going to be worried about how many hours you run that lawnmower?
Yes, but the wiper blades on the lawnmower, definitely.
All right.
Wiper blades.
Damon, if you have watched this video this far, be sure to like the video. My wife, Pam, insists that you like the video, and it lets YouTube know that, we gave you some valuable information, and maybe we gave you a different perspective that will help you make a shitload of money. I don't know how big a shitload is, but it sounds like a lot of money.
It's bigger than a crap load.
Yeah, it is.
Hey, go to cargurus.com, cargurus.com, look at Priuses. And like I said, if your car is just too precious, just look at it as a business decision. Should I invest this 30 grand to start this side hustle? Is it going to pay off? And you don't have to invest 30 grand. Sign and drive, baby. You have halfway decent credit. You can just sign up and your first payment's not due for like 45 days. Sign, drive away.
Let me put my debt advisor hat on for a moment, okay?
Turn your Uber app on the way home from the dealership and make some money.
That's a good idea. But if you put our financial consultant hats on for a moment, here's the thing. If you think that your credit really sucks, like, you're in the mid sixes or something like that for your credit score, go to the new car dealer, because new car dealers have better access to credit and cheaper credit. And you can walk out of there financed, where some buy now, pay here lot is just going to screw you. So go to the new car dealer.
But what about this argument? So you go, I can't, my credit's not good enough. They're going to finance this $30,000 Prius, but it's going to be 15% interest, Steve.
Yeah, it's fine. That's absolutely fine.
Oh my God.
Because
50%. How's that fun?
You don't know.
You're making my head explode. How?
Yeah, because you're going to make a shitload of money and then you're going to refinance the car.
Yeah, people are like, I can only buy a car if it's 3% interest. It doesn't freaking matter if it's 10%, 8%. Now, it matters if it's a consumer debt and you just want this car to be fancy and drive around. But you have to look at it, okay, it's going to be 15% because my credit sucks. Now maybe it's $550 a month instead of $450 a month. Okay, does that extra $100, how does that compute into my earnings? Well, I think I can make $4,000 a month on the side with this new car. Does it matter if it's $450 or $550? No, it'd be better if it's $450, but you got to start with what you have and get it at the 15% if it's going to make you money. But better yet, use the damn car you have because it's not a precious vehicle.
All right, I think we got the point across.
Did we, though? Are you sure? Because there's going to be some that come back at me. There's going to be some.
Yeah, you don't know what the hell you're talking about, Damon.
My wiper blades, man. It's expensive. Those rain
All right, anything else you want to add?
$30 a wipe. No, I think I added it all.
See ya.
Peace.
All right. Hey, that was good.
Hey, if you're not going to have fun with it, why do it?
I don't sugarcoat it.